Hello and welcome. I am so glad you're here. I'm Beth, a creator-based coach with CMH Coaching for Life. I'm here today to help you and those you love create a life you feel grounded and at home in. Think of a life where you feel peace, love for those around you, and in a flow with just enough challenge to keep you happy and creating something wonderful. Sounds like magic, but it's not. You can create that life every single day. You can have a life full of love, excitement, hope, and creation. Our mission at CMH Coaching is to flood the earth with light through compassion, mindfulness, and hope. And I'm going to ask a favor of you. If you like what you see and hear today, think of someone you know that would enjoy and benefit from this message. Our mission is to flood the world with compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Share this with them. But for now, this is time just for you. So settle into whatever you're doing and enjoy this time with the girls, where we create that one awesome, amazing, perfect life every one of us is seeking.
You gotta watch your thinking. Watch your thinking. Watch your thinking.
Welcome to A Creator-Based Life, the weekly podcast for CMH Coaching. We empower women of faith to create the lives they love, the lives they've always wanted. I'm here with Jacine Bonnett, a business coach, a mom, a grandma, and an avid runner, and Jennifer DeRoos, a coach, a can grow anything gardener, and a hypnotherapist. And I'm Beth, a master life coach, an author, and the creator of The Creator-Based Way. Create your one awesome, amazing, perfect life. And it's Labor Day. Happy Labor Day, you guys. It's a day to rest from all of your labors. Hope will happen through the podcast today.
You know what?
What?
I love that you said it's a day to rest from all your labors, because my dad always said, oh, it's Labor Day. That's a day that you kids get to work extra hard at home because you don't have school today. And so I hated Labor Day. I loved
Labor Day. Labor Day was invented as a day for us in the United States to rest from our labors.
It was always yard work. It was always yard work or cleaning. Yes.
We were chopping wood for the winter or canning. Yeah.
No, for us, it was a barbecue in the backyard, and my dad would buy kielbasa, and he would slice it about this thick into little round pieces and stick toothpicks in it, and he would grill each individual one on the grill so that it was crispy on both sides. That was an hors d'oeuvre. After that, we really got to eat meat because we were big Greek meat eaters, and we just did it. We had steak and we had burgers and there were hot dogs and all kinds of things. It was Labor Day. It was the day to rest from your labors. Spoiled, huh?
Somebody got it right.
Yeah.
I'll never forget all of those because I could have eaten every single sausage he made, man. I love those things. And he put on the top rack to keep them warm. Yeah.
That's like my mouth is watering right now.
I know. It was so good. And it was probably just the little kielbasa that the Eckrich kielbasa from the grocery store, but it was so special because he cooked it, and dads don't often do all the cooking. No. He cooked it, and it was in the backyard. And then they would play cribbage, and I would get to watch. Yes. That was Labor Day. Yeah.
Fun.
Really fun.
Happy Labor Day, people.
That's right. Happy Labor Day, y'all. I hope it's a rest day for you, not a canning day or a yard work day or a chopping wood for the winter day. Oh my gosh, Jacine. Well, it's September, officially September. And with that, there's a change in the theme. So this month's theme, we're studying resilience and how to bounce back. And I just have to show you, after we studied this last year, because this is our second year, and we did it for YouWeek. There it is. My sister sent me a package of these, 6 of them. 6 eggs that are full of, you see?
Silly putty.
Silly putty. Because silly putty is the ultimate resilience. We're going to talk about this for YouWeek this next week. And the question being, are you, in your resilience, are you silly putty? Are you Play-Doh? Or my thought was, are you Laffy Taffy? But just, it's just something to think about this month. What's your resilience? Part of that study in resilience, we're reading this book called Anatomy of a Calling from Lissa Rankin. She's a brilliant, brilliant doctor and a great writer. And in Anatomy of a Calling, she tells the story of the hero's journey, which also is perfect because that's the theme for YouWeek is the hero's journey. So it kind of all goes together. Study with us all month long. But in the hero's journey, Lissa talks about all of these hard things that went on that led her to her calling. And at the end of all of the hard things, she ends with this quote from Plato, which says, "Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle." And when I read that, I just thought, so everyone. So when I look at my mailman and I'm like, yep, my mailman just finished colon cancer. Okay, he's in remission and it's good. Okay, when I look at my neighbor lost her husband. Everybody you meet is facing a hard battle, even if you don't notice it. Even if you don't see it on the surface, it's there. So I thought maybe today we would talk about some hard battles in our lives, couched in the hero's journey, and talk about maybe some tools that we could use to help with those hard battles. Y'all in?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, let's start with Jacine because I know Jacine's had some doozers, some hard battles.
I have, like every one of you out there has had hard battles. And I went on it was a 6-day camping trip with my son and my daughter-in-law, who is not my daughter-in-law, she's my daughter, and my 4 grandkids. And then Rachel's sister and husband and their 3 kids came a couple days, and then my husband and I. And the thing that came to my mind is everyone you meet. So you think of, I was with children, and oh my gosh, how I love children. I love, they just bring to light and life, and they feel every emotion just fully. And
it flows right through them. So whatever they feel, you see, which is amazing.
Yes,
yeah.
It is. But sometimes those battles for kids are even hard. So just my son decided it would be so fun and so funny, like to play a joke on everybody, because we had been going on hikes, and the kids, every time they found poop, which was deer poop, it was always, oh, this is bear poop. Everything was bear.
Oh no.
Everything is bear poop.
No, so scary.
Oh,
scary.
Yeah, so they're prepped. And Grandpa, are there bears in these woods? And Grandpa would say, well, there may be. I've been up here for 35 years and I've never seen one. I've never seen a track. So Grandpa was trying to play it down, and good for him. But my son thought it would just be so funny to put a Bluetooth speaker out in the woods, and from his phone, as it's turning dark, and we're not able to have fires because it's fire season, and just play bear sounds, like, oh my gosh. So the kids are age 14 down to age 6, and Jet is the baby and a 6-year-old. And it scared the daylights out of him. And even his mama saying, you know what, your dad was just playing a joke. And Tyler was laughing. Everybody's laughing. The older kids, they just thought it was so fun.
Scared. Because in his mind, that was very real. Yeah.
Oh, and he just couldn't shake it, right? And so, I know, right? It just went so wrong in every way. And Rachel looked at Tyler and she's like, okay, he's yours tonight. Like, if there's something that goes on tonight, even though we're all in one tent, he's your responsibility. I take none of this. So
I have no accountability for your bear call thing. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So we get up the next morning, and first thing I come out of our camper, they're in a tent, we're in a camper, and come out of the camper, Grandma, I need to tell you what happened. And I'm looking at Tyler, his eyes, he's got bags under his
Oh
eyes.
no.
And he's like, yeah, it was a rough night. That was a really bad idea, right? But poor Jet, like Jet had horrible dreams. He just shared with me these terrible dreams about his sister, like getting eaten and dying and like just horrible things. And and then he said, I said, well, what did you do to make those things stop? And he said, Daddy and I prayed and we asked Heavenly Father to help us. And I said, did that help? And he said, yeah, a little bit. And then
Yeah.
Tyler said, yeah, we tried going to his happy place, which is in San Diego at the Lego museum, whatever, trying to deflect and get his mind on something else.
Visualize.
And then
Yeah.
he'd go back to sleep and have these dreams again. And so the underlying thing after talking with Jet for a little bit was he was upset with his dad. Like he was still upset with his dad for doing that,
Yeah.
And it was interesting. I said, well, are you mad at him? And he said, no, I'm not mad at him, but it wasn't very nice. And I can't stop these bad thoughts. And so we talked about, what can we do to change those thoughts? And the number one thing is forgiveness. And that was just inspired because Grandma does not think of that all the time. So I am not taking credit for that, y'all. I'm
Thank you,
giving
God.
all that credit to God.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And just saying, Jet, why don't you go over and do you forgive your dad for doing that? And he's like, yeah, I do. And I said, well, why don't you go over and tell your dad you forgive him? And Tyler was making breakfast and went over and gave his dad a hug. And Tyler knelt down and he said, Daddy, I forgive you. And Tyler said, oh, thank you, Jet. I love you so much. And they just did their little thing and talked for a minute. I don't know what they said. And then Jet came back over and sat on my lap. And I said, Jet, how does your head feel now?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, it feels good. It
Yeah.
feels good. How does your heart feel now? My heart feels good. And I said, do you have any of those thoughts anymore? And he's like, no more scary thoughts. They're all gone. And so for a tool, that was for me, and a little child shall lead them, right?
Right.
And to be as a little child. And I thought being able to fully forgive like he did, what a huge tool that is. And saying the words
Out
like
loud. Saying the words out loud. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
vibrationally. If you look at the vibration and the power of words themselves, that is a huge clearing tool to be able to speak it out loud.
Man.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's my tip. Just forgive freely and say the words out loud. Yeah.
Yeah. And just let it go.
Oh my gosh. And it was gone. Like the next night they talked about it and laughed about it and no more. He didn't have any more.
That is so
No
cool.
more problems with that.
Gone. I struggled for a long time with my folks not being the parents that I thought they should be. And what real angry about it for a lot of years, just feeling like I'd been cheated, or if only they had done this, my life would have been so much better this way, and back and forth and back and forth. And sometime long time ago now, I read it, the phrase, I forgive you for not being the person I thought I needed you to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was so powerful for me. By the time that all developed, my folks had both passed. And so everything had kind of been put to bed, so to speak. But when I actually said the words out loud to my parents, even though they weren't present, it was a very emotional experience to say, I forgive you for not being the person I thought I needed you to be. They were great. They were great parents. And looking back at it now, I'm like, they did the very best they could. They were so devoted. They were great people. but I thought I needed them to be different than they were. And so I held this huge grudge and just blamed all this stuff on them. And when I forgave that, it all went away, very much like with Jet. And now it's like, I love them and I love what they did for me. And it's so cool. But all of that grudge and everything went away with me being willing to forgive. It was huge. Yeah, it was really huge. That is such good counsel. Jen, you looked like you had something you wanted to say.
When do I not have something I want to say?
That's why we love having you here. Yes.
No, this is like all really good stuff. And I just like second everything that's being said on how to, like walk, I think, more peaceable in this world. Because we all have things we're dealing with. And there have been times when I would meet somebody and learn about their life and go, oh my gosh, how did you survive?
Right. How did you make it through?
I mean, like you're standing and you're success. But, so a lot of times when we learn people's stories, we can realize, man, they went through war, they went through, but to kind of circle back to the book, because something that came out in the book about how, because she talks about how we're all, we're all fighting battles and things like that. But she, I don't know how, if you know much about her, and I'm learning because I've only 3 chapters in, but she in her life was trained to be a doctor of OBGYN.
Yeah.
And this one night, one of the defining nights in her life, she lost 5 babies on the ward.
In her practice, in one night.
One night, and tragic losses. And it was just like, and everything.
Oh, it's gut wrenching. When you listen to the book, I tell you, wash dishes, mow the lawn, do something active so you can just let go of that emotion as it goes.
And then hug your children.
Yes, and hug your children. It's really intense.
Yeah, it's really intense. But the thing that stuck out to me, but then also I think dovetailed with what she's talking about, how how we need to treat each other gently, because
everyone is fighting a hard battle. Yeah,
fighting a hard battle is. She talks about how, like, at one point she just crumbles to the floor, and or she ran away or something like that.
She goes to I think she goes to the nurses' lounge. And after like one of the very last really devastating births, and she goes in and she's going as quickly as she can without running. And she closes the door, but her supervising doctor is right behind her. And she goes to the nurses' lounge and literally pushes the door shut, and he's pushing it open.
Yeah. And he's berating her for having healing, for being compassionate, for this upsetting her.
He's just telling her, buck up. You'll never get anywhere.
You're never going to go anywhere in this business, blah, 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 and everything. And 2
midwives.
2 midwives basically push him out of the way and minister to her. They hold each other, they cry, they allow each other to have their feelings and everything. And so at the end of the chapters, when she's talking about how we're all like having this battle, it kind of, like really sunk into me, like we as women need to support each other when we see somebody in the trenches.
Yeah.
When we see somebody in that state, because heavens knows, when I've been in that state, I would have loved to have had support.
Somebody would hold you.
Yeah. And to have your back and say, I got you, and or I've been there. And so it helped me to kind of be like, okay, I feel like I'm okay right now. I'm not in a battle, so to speak. I need to have eyes to see where I can minister, where I can like support. So that's what I got out of the book right there, to not only be aware that everybody else is having their battles, but how can I support somebody in their battle?
Yeah. And
I thought that was just a beautiful moment, but also just gut-wrenching story.
It is a gut-wrenching story. Yeah. It's what helped her to recognize her calling. And it's what gave her the strength and the experience to go and pursue that calling. It is an excellent book. Yeah. But gut-wrenching. But I can't unsee those 2 women just putting their arms and holding her.
Yeah.
Just holding her.
Yeah. And crying with her.
Yeah. And crying with her. Mm-hmm. At one point in the story where she's talking about Marisol, one of the other women who gave birth to a stillborn baby, she just crawls into bed with Marisol and they cry together.
Yeah, and holds her until she falls asleep.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Wow.
mean, Lissa Rankin is a good person.
And what I
Wow.
loved about what those midwives told her, said, don't let them snuff this out in you or something like
Right.
that.
That's right.
Yeah,
Don't ever let them take this from you.
take this from you.
Yeah.
And so like there's a reason we are created to comfort each other. And so
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, yeah, good but hard book. So
Really?
hard.
Yeah. But there's a reason we have feelings, right?
Mhm.
There's a reason that we're 50-50, that we have the 50 great where we're celebrating and we're resting and we're integrating. And then the 50 where it's just hard, you know, meant to have all of those feelings and experience them all. But the question is, what do we do with them? Because I know in my practice, I find so many people who just have lots of feelings still lodged, lots of things that are all stuck up in their bodies and in their minds and in their hearts, and just need to be freed from that. So what do you do with, how do you do it so that you, when you have an emotion, you're not holding on to it? So you're taking it and letting it flow through you. What do you do?
I think the coolest thing that I heard, and I cannot remember which book I read it in, but it was a practice of just feel your emotions because they last about 90 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just let it go, then it's over.
Yep.
And but if you stop it before it's over and before it's finished, that's how they get trapped and they get buried. And it just reminded me often of words that I didn't say. I would bury them under the carpet, sweep it. Here's the carpet. My room's nice and tidy, but boy, under this carpet, this mountain is growing.
Right. Don't sweep it under the rug.
Right. And it's the same thing with emotions, that if for me, that was super, super helpful to realize, oh, it's not going to go on and on and on. Generally speaking, I mean, there are great things that happen in our lives that we're going to feel that emotion over and over and over again. But
we will, but it diminishes. A few years ago, our oldest daughter died suddenly. And when she passed, big emotions. And I remembered that what I had learned was 25 to 90 seconds. And I determined, it was like a big deal for me. I don't want this stuff to be trapped. I want to find a way to learn and grow from the emotions that I'm feeling, but not hang on to them. And so I would count. Here it comes. And it's like, I swear it's like labor pain. Here it begins to build and it comes up and you've got this huge sadness. And I just start to count in my mind. It never went longer than 25.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The first few times I did it, I was terrified because I was like counting. And this is a big, big feeling. And I'm counting. I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. And I'm praying in my mind and I'm counting, but it would die. Like it would just fade out around 15 or 20. And so after I'd done it a few times, I just got braver and more comfortable with the process. But I really credit that to my recovery, my personal recovery. It made a huge difference in being able to see things as a learning experience. And it's good.
And that it's not going to be there forever.
No. And it's so nice to know that very much like a labor contraction, it started, there would be a thought or something and it would start to grow. And you're like, oh, I would think, oh crap, here it comes. I know it's coming. And then you're up here. And then if you hold it, and then it would taper off. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Didn't always happen that way. Sometimes somebody would say something and you were just a puddle on the floor. There's not a lot you can do about that kind of emotion. Mm-hmm. But if you're being a puddle on the floor, at least you're not holding on to it. And that's important. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. What do you do, Jen?
Go ahead, JC.
Go ahead,
JC. That reminded me of a friend who has had multiple bouts with cancer, and she got news while she was in Costco, answered her phone, got news again that
it was back.
It's back. You get to do this again. And, she's that person that's like, okay, I can suck it up. But learning to not hang on to those emotions, she said she just found a corner in Costco and just like
let it out.
Sobbed because she knew it wasn't going to last for not more than 90 seconds. She's like, I really don't care who comes by. And And
it's not about
and she
them,
wasn't
whether they're
aware.
comfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. She wasn't aware of anybody that came by or whatever, but she said it was really healing to her to be able to understand that she could fully feel that emotion and then dry her eyes and then move on with her day instead of trying to bear it, sweep it under the carpet. And, oh, I'm in the produce aisle and now I'm looking at laundry detergent and here we go
I'm
again.
thinking about how I won't be able to do my laundry. Yeah. That book,
Yeah.
Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. That's what keeps coming to mind. Carol Truman's book, Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. You can't sweep them under the carpet. You just can't. They do have a way. They're important.
They'll resurface with their friends and it'll be even worse. So
they will. So you gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. So what else works for you for letting them go? Jen, I know you had some ideas.
Well, because I'm a visual person, and so I do a lot of visualization, and I'm also a nature lover and loving to be outside. So one of the ones that I love,
and a gifted hypnotherapist, y'all, don't let her do that. She's a gifted hypnotherapist. Okay.
So what I like to do is, because you can do this anywhere, because I know that at some point in your life you remember this because you've experienced this. Have you ever stood outside in just a nice breeze and you just feel it coming over your body, through your hair, everything like that? So what I do is I envision myself when I have that because it rises up, like you were saying.
It does.
And I envision, like, I feel the outside wind breeze over my body, through my body, and that intensity just goes out with the wind, just goes out of my body with it. And I just give it to the wind. And sometimes if I'm feeling it over and over again, like if it's because it's, your emotions come because of the thoughts that you're thinking, I will actually go outside and try and hear the breeze in the tree, or try and hear the wind around me, and do it and let it just go and release from my body and from my mind. And so that's something I do. And if it's that intense thing where I'm like, I have to actually go outside and try and hear the breeze, I will actually put my breath into it, where I will, when I breathe out, I am breathing it out into the wind. So it's just a little different.
I love that. Yeah,
there's such intention in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I really love it. That is beautiful. Beautiful tools, beautiful stories. So just a reminder, be kind, because everyone you face, everyone you meet is having a hard battle somewhere. There's something. So let's just be kind. Moving forward, though, we have some happy things going on this week. Tomorrow we'll have Coach and Clear. Oh, and we had an amazing jumpstart on Saturday. If y'all haven't seen the jumpstart, if you weren't able to attend, it's on the top of the page at the 50/50 Girl Club. And so good. Meeting uncertainty and fear and working with those uncomfortable things. Jen, do you want to say anything about that from Saturday?
No, just watch it.
Just as good. Just as good. And you'll get some more tools for working with emotions. Yeah. And come to the 50. I mean, all of our Jumpstart workshops are on the top of the 50/50 Girl page. So if you've missed any of them, you can just get them. They're pinned there. So that happened Saturday. And then tomorrow we'll have Coach and Clear again. And we'll work on whatever that baggage is, bring whatever you're struggling with, whatever your hard story is. And you don't have to participate, but if you want to participate, it's a beautiful group to do it in. People are very kind. It's very safe. It's completely confidential. We do have people that just come in and they don't say anything, and there's just a picture with their name at the bottom, and that's okay too. But just come and listen, and then go through the steps with us. Bring your journal, and then at the end, you'll be writing down what you feel inspired to do for your coming week. It's a beautiful creative reset once a week. And then Wednesday we have book club, and my understanding is you're reading a new book next week.
We are. It's called
on Wednesday.
Power of Stillness. So I love that because I had the opportunity to be in the still. Look at it. She has it. It's beautiful.
There it is. Here, you want to see something about this book? I don't know if it'll show you or not, but like every fourth page is dog-eared.
I do see that. Yeah.
In some way. I mean, it is a book worth marking. It is really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry to
very,
interrupt you. I just had to share.
yeah. So come, we're just starting it. Read the intro minimally and try and get into the first chapter. And we'll be discussing that Wednesday.
It's a great group of women, very insightful and very diverse, right?
Very. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's really good. And then Thursday we have coach training, and we'll be continuing on learning more about anatomy of a calling. And we're reading Kevin Worthlam's book, The Power of Hope, or his talk, I should say, that he gave, The Power of, as well this week. I think this week, might be next week, but either way, it's out there. And we're going to move on for that. And then we're getting ready for another jumpstart. But before that jumpstart, we have a really big annual event. Jacine, you want to tell us about that?
We have, we have YouWeek coming up, and that is the week of the 12th.
It starts the 11th, to the 15th.
The 11th through the 15th. And oh my gosh, you guys, it is just a week all about you and setting up. I mean, we're going into the last quarter of the year, and kids are back in school. Summer is over, and it's time to just get back in the swing of things. And it just is a beautiful way to jumpstart your way into prepping for 2024, just getting on that page and taking care of yourself, because it all starts with us. We have to put on that oxygen mask, and we got to make sure that we are in a good place so that we can minister and we can be there for others the way that we want to be.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference when you are taking care of everybody around you is happier. And then just before YouWeek on the 9th, September the 9th at 9 a.m. Pacific. Is that right?
Yeah.
9 a.m. Pacific time.
That's correct.
Our Jacine is going to be on the global stage. I'm so excited for this. The global stage, y'all. And she is going to be teaching a workshop on moving from grit to grace. Every time I think about this, I think
excited.
Grit. I get, yeah. And I think grit, like I'm hanging on by my fingernails to the edge of the cliff, the grit, and just moving from that place to this grace-filled, lovely, peaceful place. And so both YouWeek and Moving from Grit to Grace are available on Eventbrite. If you want a shortcut, there's a bit.ly link. It's bit.ly/YouWeek or bit.ly/grit to grace. And it'll take you right to the page. So they're both going to just be excellent events. And what a beautiful abundance of opportunity to really find some good tools. Yeah, really, we've got a great week, a great month, really, in September. So I'm excited. It's just like a fantastic month. Yeah, so many good things. So thanks for coming for Creator-Based Week and Creator-Based Life. And we'll be back in another week with more good news and more good tools. And we'll move forward, creating the life we love. The life that, and this always makes me giggle to say in front of Jen, that you wake up and you just can't stand to stay in bed anymore because you just want to get up and go. Just the best kind of life there is. So let's do it this week, and we'll talk to you guys all soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all. Have a beautiful week.
I can choose to be happy, choose to be free, moment by moment. It's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think.
Hey, thanks for joining us today in A Creator-Based Life. I hope you felt that compassion, mindfulness, and hope you came seeking today. You can find more of it at cmhcoaching.com or on linktree/cmhcoaching. Of course, any social media outlet, we're there too. Because you felt the benefit and light in this message, please invite those you care deeply about to join us. Help us to create a ripple effect across the globe of compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Then we can create a creator-based life together. Have a great week, y'all. We'll talk to you soon.
Moment by moment, it's all up to me. 'Cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think.